Have you ever felt invisible? You gave your best, loved deeply, tried sincerely, and yet someone made you feel small. Their silence became your mirror. Their rejection became your worth. But listen carefully. You were never created to be measured by people's eyes. The one who wrote your worth did so before anyone ever saw you, and he never misjudges. So maybe it's time to stop asking creation for what only the Creator can give, your value. People see the surface, but Allah sees the soul. They notice your looks, your achievements, your status, yet He sees your effort, your sincerity, and your intentions. The world judges what is visible. Allah values what is hidden in the heart. When you understand this, people's opinions begin to lose their power over you. You realize that your worth doesn't rise with praise or fall with criticism, because it was never built on what others think. It was written by the one who created you, the one who knows your silent struggles and your unseen goodness. Every time you seek validation from people, you hand them the pen to write your worth, and they will always write it in pencil. But when you let Allah define you, He writes it in permanence. You no longer depend on applause to feel enough, because you already know you are valued in His sight. Even your smallest act of patience, your quiet sacrifice, your silent forgiveness, all of it counts with Him, even when no one else sees. We live in a world obsessed with comparison. Everyone wants to look better, be more loved, or appear more successful. But if you measure your worth by people, you'll always feel like you're falling short. Allah never created you to be a copy of someone else. He made you with a purpose that is completely your own. You are not behind anyone. You are exactly where He wants you to be. When your heart finally learns to look beyond creation and fix its gaze on the Creator, you find peace. You stop chasing people's attention because you've found something deeper. Contentment with Allah's approval. The one who is content with Allah's view of them walks through life with quiet dignity, untouched by the noise of judgment or rejection. So remember, no one can define your value because no one created you but Allah. He saw you before anyone else did, and He will continue to see you when the world turns away. You are not what people think of you. You are what He knows of you. And that alone is enough. One of the most painful things in life is realizing how quickly people can change. One day they are with you, praising you, appreciating you, and the next they turn away as if they never knew you. The world is constantly shifting people's hearts, their moods, their priorities. Nothing here stays the same. You can pour your heart out for someone, and still they may forget you. You can do everything right, and still they may not see your worth. But amid all this change, there is one whose view of you never changes. Allah. Allah's love isn't based on trends or popularity. He doesn't forget your kindness after one mistake, nor does He abandon you when others do. He doesn't see you for the image you show the world, but for the sincerity you hide in your heart. The world's approval is unstable. One moment you're enough, the next you're too much. But Allah's approval is steady, constant, and merciful. He sees beyond your imperfections, beyond your pain, and He still calls you worthy of His care. When you realize this truth, the craving for validation begins to fade. You stop exhausting yourself trying to fit in or be liked, because you know that the one who matters most has already accepted you. You understand that the love of people is temporary, but Allah's love is eternal. He doesn't leave when you fall. He stays, waiting for you to turn back. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every moment of being overlooked, it all becomes a reminder to return to Him. The world will often value you for what you can give, your beauty, your talent, your success, but Allah values you for who you are when no one is watching. He sees the tears you hide, the prayers you whisper, the effort you make just to stay close to Him. When you live with that awareness, peace replaces the need for approval. You start doing good not to be seen, but to be loved by the one who never stops seeing. So, when people's opinions change, don't let it shake your heart. When they forget you, don't lose yourself trying to be remembered, because the one who truly matters never forgets. His mercy doesn't expire. His gaze never leaves you. And when you anchor your worth in His eyes, the changing world can no longer make you feel lost, because you already belong to the one who never changes. There comes a time when you realize that chasing people's approval is a never-ending race. No matter how hard you try, there will always be someone who misunderstands you, someone who finds fault, someone who doesn't appreciate what you give. You begin to notice how draining it feels. Constantly adjusting yourself, softening your truth, hiding your pain just to appear acceptable. But the truth is, you were not created to be accepted by everyone. You were created to be connected to the one who already accepts you completely. Validation is temporary. It fills your ego, but empties your soul. Connection, however, fills your heart and strengthens your spirit. When you live seeking validation, you become a prisoner of opinions. Your peace depends on their words. Your joy depends on their attention. But when your heart turns to Allah, you begin to experience something far deeper. You find peace in His remembrance, confidence in His presence, and comfort in His promise. You stop performing for people and start living with sincerity for Him. The more you seek connection with Allah, the less you need from others. You no longer panic when someone disapproves, because you know He is pleased. You no longer feel lost when someone leaves, because you know He remains. You no longer chase attention, because you already have the attention of the one who owns the universe. Every prayer becomes a conversation. Every hardship becomes a bridge to draw closer. Every silence becomes an opportunity to hear His guidance. And as you deepen that connection, you begin to see yourself differently. You start to understand that your worth was never something people could give or take away. It was something Allah placed within you the moment He created you. Every breath, every blessing, every trial, it's all part of the journey to discover that inner strength. You become grounded in peace that cannot be shaken, because it doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. So stop seeking validation from creation when your Creator already calls you enough. The hearts of people change every day, but Allah's love for you does not. When you build your worth on His love, you stand tall even when others look away. You smile not because everyone accepts you, but because you are finally connected to the one who knows you, understands you, and never stops believing in your value. Comparison quietly steals from the soul. It begins with a glance. A look at someone else's life, their success, their happiness. And before you know it, you start questioning your own. You wonder why your path looks different, why your pace feels slower, why your blessings seem smaller. What you don't realize is that every moment spent comparing yourself to another is a moment spent forgetting your own blessings. Allah did not create you to live someone else's story. He created you to fulfill your own. When you compare, you rob yourself of peace. You begin to see life as a competition instead of a journey. The beauty of your own growth becomes invisible because you're too busy staring at someone else's garden. You forget that every person carries their own unseen pain, their own quiet struggles that the world doesn't notice. What you see on the surface is never the full picture. Allah tests each soul differently, and His plan for you is written with the same precision, love, and wisdom as anyone else's. The moment you shift your gaze from others to Allah, everything changes. You begin to see that what He has given you is exactly what you need right now. You realize that every delay, every hardship, every unanswered prayer holds purpose. You stop envying what others have and start being grateful for what you've been trusted with. Gratitude brings contentment, and contentment brings peace, the kind that no amount of comparison can ever replace. True happiness is not found in having more, it's found in appreciating what you already have. When you stop comparing, you create space in your heart for thankfulness. You start noticing the small mercies, the warmth of your home, the people who care for you, the health you often take for granted. You begin to understand that Allah's gifts are not measured in size, but in meaning. What may seem little to you might be the very thing that leads you closer to Him. So, the next time you feel the urge to compare, pause and remind yourself every soul is on its own path back to Allah. Your journey is not behind or ahead. It is yours. Look at what Allah has given you with love, nurture it with patience, and walk your path with faith. Because peace begins the moment you stop looking sideways and start looking upward. True self-worth begins when you realize that everything you are and everything you have is a gift from Allah. The way you think, the way you feel, the talents and abilities you carry, none of it is random. It was chosen for you with divine precision. When you look at yourself through this lens, you begin to understand that valuing yourself is not arrogance. It is gratitude. It is acknowledging the blessing of your existence and treating that blessing with care, respect, and humility. When you believe you are unworthy, you begin to treat your life carelessly. You speak to yourself with harshness. You give up easily. You stop seeing purpose in your pain. But when you remember that Allah designed you intentionally, even with your flaws and limitations, your heart softens. You realize that even your weaknesses can be a form of worship if they lead you back to Him. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, and it turns your self-perception into an act of faith. Gratitude also changes how you move through the world. You stop seeking perfection and start seeking progress. You take care of your body because it's an amanah, a trust from Allah. You guard your time because it's a blessing that will be asked about. You treat your heart gently because it is the place where remembrance of Allah resides. Every act of self-care becomes a quiet form of worship, not because you're idolizing yourself, but because you're honoring the one who created you. The more you live with gratitude, the more your confidence becomes rooted in humility. You no longer compare your worth to others because you understand that everyone's blessings are tailored to their journey. You can celebrate others without feeling less because gratitude teaches you that abundance is not limited. What Allah gives to one person doesn't reduce what He can give to you. This mindset frees you from envy, from insecurity, from the constant fear of not being enough. So, when you wake up and look in the mirror, remember your reflection is a sign of Allah's artistry. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every new chance to begin again, it's all evidence of His mercy. Treat yourself with the gentleness that comes from gratitude. Walk with quiet confidence, knowing that your worth is not found in what the world sees, but in how sincerely you thank the one who made you. There will be moments in life when you give your all, and no one seems to notice. You stay up late helping, you show kindness when it's hard, you keep choosing patience when your heart is tired, yet no one thanks you. It feels as though your efforts disappear into the air, unseen and unappreciated. In those moments, your heart whispers, "Does anyone even see me?" And that's when you must remind yourself, yes, someone does. Allah sees every act of good, even when the world is silent. Nothing you do for the sake of Allah ever goes unnoticed. Every small act, Every quiet sacrifice, every tear shed in the dark is recorded by Him. People may forget, but Allah never does. He knows the weight of the smile you force when you're breaking inside. He knows the strength it takes to forgive when you've been hurt. He knows the prayers you make for others while your own heart is aching. Every moment of sincerity, no matter how hidden, is valued by Him more than the applause of the entire world. Sometimes Allah hides your good deeds from people to purify your intentions. He doesn't want your heart to depend on recognition. He wants it to depend on Him. Because the moment you stop working for attention and start working for His pleasure, you become free. You no longer need to be seen by everyone. You just need to be seen by the One. And that quiet shift fills your soul with peace because you finally stop chasing the noise of approval and start listening to the calm of faith. When the loneliness becomes heavy and you feel unseen, remember that Allah's gaze is the gentlest one that ever existed. His awareness of you is not distant or general. It is intimate and complete. He sees you not just as you are, but as you are becoming. He sees your efforts to change, your silent repentance, your secret prayers. His seeing is not just observation, it is mercy. It is care. It is love that never leaves you alone, even when every person does. So when people forget your kindness, smile anyway. When your sacrifices go unacknowledged, keep giving anyway. When your name is not remembered, remind yourself that Allah has already written it where it truly matters. The approval of people fades, but His reward endures forever. You are not invisible. You are simply seen by the One whose sight holds infinite meaning. And that is more than enough. When you anchor your worth in people, you'll keep drowning in their opinions. But when you anchor your worth in Allah, you rise, no matter who tried to pull you down, because your worth was never in their eyes. It was always in His sight.